All right, it says we're live. Let's see if we got this audio thing fixed, because that's mildly annoying. I just wait for one of you to come in here and let me know that you can hear me. You can hear me, Lynn? We're good? Yes, no? Maybe, please? Good, 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 good. All right, so we're back. Good, we got the audio taken care of. I have no idea I didn't change anything. It must have just been a YouTube goofy. Anyway, so here we are. Haven't done a live in a while. You guys know, as always, you're dictating what we're talking about. You're kind of running the show here. You're letting me know what topics we're discussing. Whether it's something in an old video, something you're curious about now. You know, whatever. Wanted to be like Daniel, and we have to read lips. I don't know why YouTube is doing that lately. I mean, it was getting him. That's the first time it's done it to me, but it got me twice in a row. Round 3, it finally started working. I've ran into a couple of you while I'm sitting here doing my reset, as always, you know, hanging out at the lounge. Imagine that, I run into RV transporters. Let's see. Cows and campers, how are you getting along? I'm keeping busy, but it's not good. You know what I mean? There's a lot of deadhead between loads. The loads aren't ideal, and you're just kind of getting thrown wherever you can pick something up. Whether it's a lot of deadhead to go get it, a lot of deadhead after, both. It's not good. Now, like I said in the last video, I'm getting a little bit concerned. Like, damn. Are you guys right now too? I don't know what that means, Victor. Chris, what's going on, man? Coochie Coo, I'm at the lounge. Anyone have any idea why it picked up and slowed down again? This is not normal. No, it's not normal, Lynn. It picked up, and it picked up real rapidly, really fast. And I was like, yeah, we're here. And then I took a few days off to help Chris, and I took a few days off to do that trip with the boys. And I came back, and what happened? Y'all broke it when I was gone. That's what happened. I took off for a week, and y'all broke it. How long have I been at the lounge? I got here Friday afternoon. I'm taking off first thing in the morning. Now, let's see. Heard some manufacturers are shutting down for 2 weeks for Thanksgiving and then 3 weeks for Christmas. Boy, I hope not. That would not be good. That would be really not good if they did that. That's not what I wanted to hear, Chris. Thanks. Appreciate you, Mr. Chris James. Slow right now, too. Used to answer my question. Okay. Just passing by. Sir, you have an amazing beard. Thank you, Mr. Milk. Been working on it for years. I need to do a better job of upkeep and keeping it clean. But thank you. I don't know how to pronounce your screen name, but James Earl Jones. Okay, sure. They ain't got no new trailers running out before they do line changes in the plants. Okay. Stopped at the lounge yesterday afternoon and didn't see anyone there. I was sitting here yesterday afternoon. Wait, yesterday is Friday. I got in at 3 o'clock yesterday. So, from 3 o'clock Friday until now, minus when I left this morning to go get breakfast and come back, I've been sitting right here. See, they ain't got no new trailers or anything like that. Yep, sorry, yeah. Oh, all right. James Earl Jones. Wasn't that the guy that played Darth Vader in Mufasa? Or am I thinking of someone else? Let's see, 2026 models have been out since May. I pulled, yeah, the line changes are well over and done with. Honestly, the economy is not great, and the Fed has interest rates really high, and I think that's why we're seeing what we're seeing. You know, what's the first thing people are going to not buy? RV dispatcher said that RVs will be hit and miss for a while. We'll probably end up dead heading to Virginia to take a trailer to Lansing. Ouch. Yeah, I mean, I've definitely had a lot of deadhead since, I mean, it wasn't great when I came back in June, but it's progressively got worse, and the deadhead has been a thing, and way more deadhead than I've ever experienced. And yeah, reload board is slow, outbound board is slow, and when things pop on the board, they're gone that fast. I don't know how many times that I've refreshed it, nothing, refresh it in like 3 minutes. There's a load, I click on it, and someone's already dispatched on it. So that's where we are. Let's see, RV dispatcher thinks hit and miss for a while, probably end up deadheading. Yep. I gotta talk to one of our power only dispatchers Monday. You gonna go over to Drive-Away? Or stay more single pole stuff? I think it might be January before things pick up. I honestly think you're right, Victor. I think it's going to be takeable scraps like it has been until January, like late January. That's kind of where my brain is at this point, what I think is going to happen. Chris, didn't think you could do power only without a CDL. Are they doing any better at Horizon, or you think you're doing better there? I have friends at Horizon, and it seems like their load boards are in a little better shape than ours. That really doesn't surprise me. Just because Horizon is essentially the parent company to Wave. You know what I mean? Horizon bought Wave out. Of course, Horizon is their baby, their priority, but they're keeping Wave alive. So it doesn't surprise me at all that Horizon would be doing better. Len, several things I can do on the power only, though it'll help me a lot with other loads. Our power only is trailers that are not RVs. Yeah, you don't have to have a CDL for that, but you do have to run an ELD. So that would be the difference. Is if it's not an RV, you have to function under ELD. Anyway, I was just sitting here, and I was just beat by the time I rolled in here yesterday, and just went and sat around, had some dinner, sat around, and then slept a lot longer than I normally do this morning. Operating on Chris time, my buddy Chris that you guys have seen in a lot of videos. I was operating on his schedule today. It's almost noon before I got out of bed. It's weird for me. And I've just kind of been hanging out. Not a whole lot going on. And figured I'd jump on here and do a live. Haven't done one of those in quite a while with you guys. I enjoy the interactions. I enjoy the back and forth. I enjoy the, just hanging out and chit-chatting. Don't really get to do that on the videos. It's me talking, you guys comment, and I try to reply to everything, but I'm sure I've missed comments. But I really do my best to reply to every single comment. I've learned that after a couple days, I don't get the alerts for every single message. It's just I get alerts for some messages after a couple days. So I try to respond to every single one, but I'll guarantee you I've missed some. ELD loads, which is what Bennett requires for 95% of the drivers. Yep. Yeah. Did you deadhead all the way from PA over to there? No, I deadheaded from Connecticut all the way over here. I dropped in Connecticut, and then I slept in PA after I dropped in Connecticut, and then I came here. Does Wave do paper logs? Well, Wave doesn't do, just like Horizon, they don't do paper, but it's the Motive app, just like if you were to have an ELD, but it's the manual input, not ELD driven. Wave does paper only if the Motive app doesn't work. Right. You get my truck straightened out. Yeah. I think I've finally fixed everything in this truck. She's just about to 400,000 miles, and she's a little bit of a clatterbox like any 24 valve Cummins is, especially with that high miles, but she runs like a champ. Great oil pressure, doesn't get hot, runs phenomenally. Obviously I take it easy. I don't beat on her. I'm very gentle to her. But I think I've pretty well ironed all the kinks out of this thing. Knock on wood. Let's hope it stays that way. Transmission's great. I think I finally fixed everything on that. Granted, I'm still waiting for that governor solenoid to go out. I have the one right back there. But that's a pretty easy fix. I could do that on the side of the road, no problem. Work for Classic Transport, and they do paper logs. Okay. Yeah, Chris, it's nice to finally have this thing ironed out. But, it's a truck that sat for roughly 5 years. Honestly, I haven't been really surprised by anything that I've come across, minus the giant headache with the transmission. It should have just been slapped in and go instead of just problem after problem with it. But a little bit of know-how and knowing the right people that know the right things, get all that hammered out, and she seems to be running great. I think I finally got her whipped into shape. Stay safe out there. Times are fixing to get rough till January. The biggest problem, there are too many of us doing this camper. Lots are full and it's just not selling right now. Good luck, guys. Yeah, honestly, no, these aren't definite numbers. These are just kind of what I've been able to pieced together talking to people, I think Wave has somewhere around 550 drivers-ish. I don't know that to be factual. That's just kind of what I've put together. And I think Horizon's probably somewhere close to 700. That's a lot of trucks. That's a lot of trucks running, especially when it's slow. You know, that sucks for all of us. You know, am I a part of that problem? Yeah, well, people like me, like Daniel, that came out here and talked this job up. You know, that's probably a big part of it. I remember when I started with Horizon, there was like 375 drivers. And then within a couple years, you know, I had the YouTube channel going. Obviously, I'm not 100% the cause of that, but I watched it get up over 600 drivers. You know, that kind of says something. And by all means, you know, great. Helped an industry grow. Helped people out there who were looking for work. And there's people that have come in, decided it wasn't for them, and left. I know quite a few of those people. I've talked to them. Oh, I did it for a few months and I'm out. Okay, cool. But I think that's the biggest problem, is we're just overpopulated with drivers, and that's there's not really anything we can do to fix that. You know what I mean? You know, people are going to work where they want to work, and then the people that did what I did, you know, bought $100,000 truck and jumped into this. That hurts for them. Like, that stinks bad. And unfortunately, those people probably won't be around long, because they can't afford it because of that truck payment. They'll just have to sell the truck, get out from under it, and go. You know what I mean? Let's see. I missed a bunch of comments. Let's go back and get. I don't like to really sit anyhow. Yeah, I got you. I think I got an intercooler leak with my truck. Chris, you have worse luck than I do, man. Did I find a second truck yet, or an eye on one? No. I've got, like I said, I've got a guy interested in this truck. I told him as soon as I can get up to Washington, maybe we'll make a deal happen. You know, I've looked in the area. There's plenty of trucks there. With the money that he gives me from this, I could roll into something really, really easy. So, let's see. Chris, check your turbo boots. I know someone just had to replace the hot side. Yeah. His first thumbs up of many to come. I appreciate you. I think there's going to be a lot of Texas runs for a week or two. Picked up Funtown Thursday morning. And there were a lot of campers in there a lot. Good. Where are you finding the better money at, East Coast or West Coast? It's back and forth, man. You know, one day the outbound board is just blowing up, and then the next day the Western loads are just going crazy, and then it's back and forth and back and forth. It's, I don't know. Seems like wherever I chase it, it goes the other one. So just stay on the opposite side of the country as me, and you'll probably be fine. Started after watching myself and Mr. Tennessee. Yeah. See, I personally know of over 100 drivers that were here because of me. And it's not like I know them personally, but I was able to see everyone who put my driver number down as a reference. And at my peak, I had 77 drivers under me. How many of those quit? Because that only shows me my total at that time. It's not a running tally of everyone ever. So how many got quit or got deleased? So there's probably more than that. 77 would be a very safe bet, right? And then how many people saw my videos, applied, and didn't put me down? So I think it's safe to say that well over 100, at least. And is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? I don't know. Yeah. There's not really, I have not come across any of those in RV transport, but I have noticed it's much easier to find a parking spot in a truck stop now. So I'll take that as a plus. Cotton candies, I'm trying so hard to make it work. There's just no way I can last until the end of the year, and I don't even have a truck payment, just my usual bills, and I can't live like this. It's rough. I mean, I'm very, very lucky that the only thing I have is utilities, insurance, cell phone. My wife covers groceries, so I'm just responsible for the normal daily bills. We don't have, we have one payment that's outside of just normal life. Lynn, it sounds like the whistle is on the cold side. Only hear it when I'm on the throttle. As soon as I let off, it goes away. Yeah, check all your boots before you start trying to troubleshoot a intercooler. Boots are way easier to change, way cheaper to change, and much easier to see if they're the problem. On my way to Funtown. Okay. Thanks for the replies. How old of a truck can you have with Wave? 2000. 2000 is as old as you can go. I'm pretty sure that's what they said when I started. I'm pretty sure they said 2000. Stephen Jardine, I went to San Angelo. Oh. My kid's down there. She's married to a fellow jarhead, and he's stationed on the Air Force base there, so they're down there in San Angelo. Cows and Campers, what's up? Going on, Justin, Casey. Where is the transporter at? I always see him on other people's channels. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, he's here. Cows and Campers is here. I've seen him make a couple comments. Yep, sounds like a boot is leaking. Have someone smoke machine it or go buy you one. They're cheap. If you had $30K to buy a truck for transport, what truck would you buy? I'd go back to a Power Stroke in a heartbeat. Period. I'd go back to a Power Stroke. Did you ever get things settled back down with that stuff you were trying to put together back home? Sure. You think you'll stay in RV transport for many years? Yeah, I really do like this job. I regret leaving it, and I'm very glad to be back in it. Kind of wish I still had my 7.3, leased it on with Wave and double dip. Yep. America Unboxed, what's going on? 2017 locally for 35K. That's a lot of money. That truck should be about half that. Go look in Texas. You can get that same truck for half that. I heard it's not just Wave. Same things are happening. Yeah. Yeah, everyone's taking a dive right now. It's not Wave. It's not Horizon. It's just everyone. That's for sure. Hang in there. I got nothing else that I can do. Okay, so what happened to my Ford Dually? So I had two of them. I had the F450, the Streetwalker, and she had a CP4 failure, and that wiped out a bunch of things, and I ended up with a $14,000 repair bill. I ended up selling that truck. I then got into another F350, and that's the one that tried to burn itself down. It's a fuse box issue. And that is not the first one of those trucks that I've heard of that fuse box issue occurring on. So that could be a common thing that's happening with those, but not common enough where they want to do a recall on it. You know what I mean? Love the comments. However, if I was to buy brand new truck with a warranty, I would buy F350 King Ranch. Yeah, I mean, the King Ranch is my favorite trim, period. And as I've said it 1,000 times, as much as it pains me to say it, Ford makes the best diesel, period. Let's see. Have you ever had a CP4 fail? Yep, I just talked about that. Come out to California and you can pay twice that? No, I will not be going to California. That's something I can promise you. This truck will never set foot in California. When is the best time of the year to apply? Right now, there's no good time. I've heard they're at a hiring freeze. I don't know if that's true, but I've heard that they're in a hiring freeze. The bandits aren't hiding. They just got tired of doing YouTube. And yeah, they had too much going on and they didn't have time to edit their videos because Cheryl put a lot of work into those videos, like a lot of work. I just slap mine together. I spend like 5 minutes editing them and I upload them. Cheryl put a lot of work into those videos and she just kind of got burnt out on it. And well, I'll just leave that at that. But they're still out working. They're still doing RVs. These lights are on timers. Thanks for your videos. I've watched a ton of them recently. Glad I could help. I appreciate you watching through them. I bought this 18 Cummins, 158 miles for $39K at the beginning of the year. It's a Longhorn. God, that's expensive too. Is there something you could have done to prevent the electrical issues? No. Honestly, I think it's something in the fuse box. Because mine melted down and then melted the harnesses at the bottom. I know another guy that has gone through 2 fuse boxes in 3 months. There was one in it, it went bad, he replaced it, and within like 2 months, 2.5 months, it went bad and he replaced it again. I would keep watching the lives and wait till load boards stay loaded. Yeah. Have you done the grid heater bolt failure or did you delete that in the RAM? No, so this is the older model. This one is not having the grid heater issue. I did take it apart and double check it. Everything's still tight and good in there. Heard the average income for a single pull guy is about $2,000, $2,500 per week. After fuel is taken out, does this sound about right? Not right now, it's not. But under normal conditions, yeah, that's pretty accurate. Yeah, I still talk to them pretty regularly. Coochie Coo. Excuse me. You should do live streams more often. This is great. Yeah, I would love to. The issue is, I used to do them fairly regularly, and the people that have been watching me for years can tell you that. But with the way life was going, and then getting this truck, and the fact that it was breaking every time I took it out, I'd go home and I'd limp it home and I'd piece it back together and fix things and then take back off. I haven't had time to do any lives. My life has been chaos since I decided to go back into this in May. And it's just starting to so I'm sure there's going to be more lives coming. I'm sure. I just haven't had the opportunity to as of late. I think I saw the other week in Iowa at Iowa 80. Yeah, you probably did. I haven't actually watched your channel in a long time, and I just saw that you were live. I used to run the YouTube channel Junkyard Dog Transport. Okay, I remember that screen name. Good to see you back. With the electrical burn down and the blown CP4, useless say Ford is the best. Yes, I do. Because the Dodge has its front differential issues. The Aisin transmission is good. The other one is terrible. And then the Dodges were having a lot of DPF issues. Chevy, to my knowledge, still has not got their injectors figured out. They fail all the time. And they also were having a bunch of DPF issues. And their parts were on massive back order, like months back order. I don't know if they've corrected that. But I've had so many problems with every Duramax I've owned, and this is the second Cummins I've had, and while they're definitely better than a Duramax, I am not impressed. I think that this truck, if you're going to get Cummins, the 2003 and the first half of 2004, if you want a Cummins, I think that's the best truck you can get. That's my opinion. The transmissions in them suck, but the engine was a lot better. They don't have all the electrical issues that the 6.7s do. And the 2003 and early 2004 are pre-emission. No EGR, no CCV, no DPF. You could option them without a catalytic converter. It's just an old diesel. It's basically a 12 valve as far as the emission and everything on it, but it's got all the benefits of a 24 valve. And you can get around the issue with the electrical stuff by getting a little bit older 6.7 Power Stroke, and you can get a I can't remember the name of it, but there's a fuel pump that replaces the CP4, and it's a different pump. It's got it's a 3-letter acronym. It's like $2,000 or $2,500, and it's just an old resilient pump, like one of those ones. Not that I'm saying you should do this, but like the old pumps where you can just like, here, we'll just throw motor oil in it and it'll run. That. That was before the RV industry took the nosedive a few years ago. I now do heavy haul, wanting to see if the industry picks back up to justify putting my truck back to work. It has not picked back up, sir. The grid heater delete is on the 6.7. Okay, yeah. I knew it was the newer ones. I thought it was the newer 5.9s, the 2005, 2006. I thought they had it as well, but I wasn't sure, but I knew it was up on the 6.7s. Yep, he sure did a lot of live streams. Then life has a way to change things. Ain't that true? You're gonna buy that land in Arizona or whatever? Yeah, that is in the works. I've looked at quite a few properties down there. I have a realtor working with me on my house up in the Boise area, and then not next week, but the week after, or the week after that, I don't remember. Sometime in the next couple weeks, me and the wife are going to go down to Arizona and look at property together and kind of see which one looks good. Thoughts on single pole versus multi-hull? Multi-hull is more money. Multi-hull is more planted on the road. You have all of that trailer weight underneath the camper, so it actually gives you a lower center of gravity. Even though you're lifting the campers up, you have a lower center of gravity. It's way more stable. But you always have a trailer on your back. There's things that come with that. One of them being parking. One of them being a DOT target all the time. So, I don't know. Personal situation is going to tell you which one of those is better. That's the way our 04 Duramax was. No LOI, no emissions, and got our 19.5. Yeah. The older diesels are great, but they all have their issues. You know, 4-speed transmissions. You're not going fast anywhere you go. And none of the transmissions were great for the kind of work that we put them through here. And that's why I think the 6.7 Power Stroke is just a hoss. It has a stellar transmission, 6-speed. You know, you get a camper off your back and you can churn 80 miles an hour, 85 miles an hour all day, and it's not going to care. Whereas this truck, if I hit 70, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to hope everything stays together. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's the best diesel, period. Okay. All right, we're back. Holy crap. I can't win tonight. Am I back? Am I good? Am I here? No, we've lost almost all of our people. Good. All right, let's see. 04 Ram 3500 with a 6-speed, and you're not joking, the transmissions suck. But the 5.9 is very reliable. You have doing checkers. Yeah. CP3, that's the injection pump that's on the older 5.9 Cummins unit. They can be retrofitted into the new trucks. Can you do non-CDL multi-haul with a 2500? I think you can. I think they have non-CDL trailers. I know Wave does, and I'm pretty sure I've seen them with Horizon. See, only problem LLY has was lifting the heads. We never had that problem. LLY had the biggest turbo they ever put on a Duramax. 17 to 19 Ford or 20 to 22. Older than 17, actually. You froze up, you're frozen, it's on repeat. He sounds like a parrot. Yeah, that happens. I thought it was just me. It's unfrozen. Yep, you're good. Oh, you're good. I was offered 2 LBZs for my 2000 Ford Ranger. Huh. 2 LBZs for your Ford Ranger. That's a pretty good deal. I mean, I'm not a fan of the Duramax, but I would take that if they run. I'm not having good luck tonight. I mean, 4 times this live has failed on me. Like, can we stop, please? Oh, man. right, so now that it froze up because my phone overheated, and we've lost 2/3 of the people that were in here watching, what do we want to talk about? No, the Suburban's gone. Sold it, and a bunch of other stuff that I had so that I could get this truck. And that's kind of where that is. I got rid of everything non-essential. Anything that I could sell for a few bucks, I did. And that got me into this truck, and here I am. Now I'm just kind of trying to rebuild everything and get rolling again, now that I've, learned life lessons and whatnot. But on the topic of this phone messing up, yesterday, I got the message that finally that phone I've been trying to get since the beginning of September has shown up. It took me ordering it 4 times, but it finally showed up at the house. So when I get home Wednesday, I'll be able to get to that phone. So I'll have the microphones. I have a couple other neat things that's going to do for the videos. These lights keep turning themselves off. So the quality of the video should drastically improve on not the next video that comes out, but the one after that. Hit and miss if they ran, kept the Ranger. Gotcha. What do I do for health insurance in this line of work? I have health insurance through the VA. So that's what I do for health insurance in this line of work. If those are the 2 options you're looking at, I do the 17 to 19 over the 20 to 22. The 20 to 22 seems to be the one that has the fuse box issue. When they went to the 10 speed, that seems to have messed something up in the fuse box. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if 4 of them do show up. Let's be real. No, the last time I went in there, attempt number 4, and I was trying to be cordial and polite. And, hey, look, we need to figure out what's going on. This is getting old. You guys have canceled this order 3 times, and I need this phone. This phone is broken. I need this phone. So you guys need to figure this out. Well, I don't know. I can't even see that order. I said, I know. You guys canceled it. So we need to figure this out. And he's just giving me the, I don't care, shut up, go away kind of answer. Well, I don't know. Well, I can't see anything. Oh, I don't know what you want me to do. And I finally lost it. And I became not so cordial. He wasn't happy I was in the store. And, oh, no, they like money. They got my money. They got my money for the phone. That wasn't a problem. They got that taken care of. It was the other half of the transaction where I get the phone that was becoming the issue. And that was why I finally just lost it. And he's like, well, we shouldn't have taken your money. I said, that's the point. You did. So now give me my phone. And, you need to control your mouth. Sure, you need to learn how to do your job. So we both have things we can improve upon. Now, let's get in your little computer. Let's sit down at this desk and let's figure this out, because I'm not going anywhere. And at the end of it, well, let's see, what is that? That was Saturday. Yeah, that was Saturday. And then Friday, the phone shows up. Just Magically, the phone appears. Loaded, I'm getting around 10. Empty, probably somewhere in the 18, 17. See, badass, I have a 21 250, only had CP4 go out, clutch fan fried, and AC blew up. Oh yeah, the AC. That's a big failure on the Illumiduties too. The AC. No, I just think that that 6.7 is a great truck, and I have every intention of getting the pre-Illumiduty. That's my goal. Had mine go out 4 times in my 19. Your air conditioning or your CP4? I mean, I guess either one of those would be a plausible answer. I'm betting AC is probably the one you had go out 4 times. And I say that because mine went out 3. And I know the Bandits had theirs go out twice. So I'm betting that AC is the one you had go out 4 times. I would take the 6.7 because the 7.3 had a fiberglass transmission just like this Dodge. Yes, I know it's not really made out of fiberglass. I understand that. But it might as well be. It was the AC. Okay. CP4's original at 360,000. The engine was knocking. That's weird. And I hate resets on the road. They're not as bad at the lounge, but if you do them at a truck stop, they suck. Get myself up in the morning, grab a shower, get cleaned up, and roll on out of here. Looking forward to it. You don't need AC running all that up north temp. Yeah, that's the issue though, is I very rarely do up north. I don't go east of Indiana. I reminded myself of why this week. And I don't do Oregon and Washington very much. I don't do Montana very much. A majority of my time has been spent between California through Nevada and Idaho, Utah, Wyoming, Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona. Like, that's where I spent most of my time, was in that little ball. Crappy job replacing the oil pan gasket. Oh, it would shave a lot of weight with a fiberglass transmission. True story. Am I sitting at the pilot? No, I'm at the lounge. I'm at Horizons Lounge. Hey, Vic. Near Ogden. Okay. I've spent a lot of time there. No, you don't miss Meridian. I live in Nampa, and you don't miss Meridian. I moved there in 2016, and it is a terrible place to live now. It is not what it was when you left. That's my biggest reason for getting out of there. It is way overpopulated. I mean, you're looking at Portland type of congestion, Salt Lake City type of, worse than Salt Lake City. Not quite as bad as Los Angeles, but somewhere between Portland and LA. And crime's gone up. There's shootings all the time. I see news reports on them. Just there was one just like 4 blocks from my house last night. It's awful. It is not what it was when I got stationed up there and decided to stay put. I can't wait to sell and get out of there. Oh yeah, when I moved there in 2016, it was amazing. I got out of the military in 2019, and I told him, nope, don't send me home. I'm staying put. Don't even bother wasting the taxpayers' money on getting me home. I'm staying where I'm at. Mm-mm. I'm out there in Boise area since last year before I ended up dealing with all the chemo I've been dealing with. Oof, that's rough. I'm sorry. Yeah, I bought my house at $170,000, and it appraises at over 400 now. Like that's what's happened. I was told I overpaid at 170. I must have missed something from Chris. The only time I remember Race of Indiana now was for the Hershey show. Okay, yeah. You get your pickle loads after. Yep. Was asked to run out to New York for a run. I don't like going out east either, but the way things are, man, I might have to take. Oh, and that's kind of, I could have undispatched off that load once I realized where it went, but I was just, nope. I need it, and I need the money. 3 weeks I had a profit of roughly $400. I needed the money, so I took the run up to Connecticut, and it was awesome. Yeah, and that's that's part of the reason I can sell it. I mean, by all means, I've refinanced the house to pay off all the debt that I got myself into. So I owe a lot more than the 170 on it, but I can sell it, buy that property in Arizona, and put a couple campers on it, and we can live in that while we build our house, and then we have no payment. What do I do for my resets? I try to sleep. Like, I'll stay up as late as I can when I park, and then I'll try to sleep as late as I can, which today I achieved that. Noon is crazy for me. I'm usually up at like 6. And just find stuff to occupy myself. It's usually when I would do most of my lives was on a reset. Call people, download video games on your phone, whatever. Find something to occupy yourself. Built Moss, Florida at 100K, and 6 months after it was built, they appraised it for over. Yeah. Now watch a bunch of videos. Yep, YouTube and TikTok become your friend on a reset. That's for damn sure. Oh, man. I'm going to have to call it here pretty quick, guys. I'm tired, need to get a good night's sleep. Is tomorrow back to running my tail off. Well, those of us that create videos on YouTube, we don't mind you being addicted to YouTube. Like, really, it's okay. It's totally fine if you want to be addicted to YouTube, you know, as far as those of us that make content are concerned. I have 2 channels myself. Yep. I thought I was going to build a second channel and take off, and I ran out of the ability to put stuff on it, and it didn't take off. I'm glad there are guys like you and a few others that talk about running these campers around. Well, we're here to help where we can. Do I have a load for tomorrow? I do. I will be, like I said, I wake up, take a shower, and roll. Oh, when you were cranking videos, it was always on Keeping Up. Yeah, so that tells me you've been a follower for a while, and I appreciate you for that. So when I first started this channel, I uploaded every single day. Granted, they were 3-minute videos, 5-minute videos, but it was every day, and there was always some little nugget of information in there. You know, I tried to read through the FMCSA Green Book and pull some little piece of information, or talk to old head truckers and gather up some stuff from them, or you know, whatever. Some little morsel of nugget of information, and that went into every video. You can only do that so many times, and then you just kind of run out of nuggets. I have no more nuggets. So now I start filming, and every day, every other day, I get a little video clip, and then something happens that's worth putting into a video, and that's where we get whatever you guys get for content. There's my big secret. I have no idea what I'm doing. I just start filming, and then when a topic comes, oh, hey, you know what? That's worth talking about. Cool. Now we have a story for the video. And people come in, it took you 12 minutes to get to the topic of the video. Yeah, have you watched YouTube? I mean, people film what they do, and then something happens, and it becomes, you know, it becomes the content of the video. Perfect example. One of the biggest channels out there, Cletus McFarland. He just released a video about his car catching on fire. How much you want to bet the car didn't catch on fire in the first 2 minutes of the video? We want to take over under on that? Welcome to YouTube. Thank you for sharing. Today is the first time to watch you. I'm looking at getting into truck driving, so your information is helping. Good. Glad I could be of help. If you were to do haul and tow, would you find a semi to do that with? Yes. Maybe like the mid-tier semi Freightliner things. But yeah. I'm looking at 2019 Chevy that only has 38,000 miles. You think it's bad, but the miles are so low. Kind of scary. Picture a big truck sitting so much. Like, what if the fuel goes bad from sitting? Well, yeah, it could. This truck sat from 2019-ish until just a few months ago. I just changed the fuel filters like 3 times in the first month, 2 months. Haven't had an issue. I did have to replace the injectors. So did the injectors get some goo in them, or were they 380,000 mile or 370,000 mile injectors and they just went bad? I don't know. Hell, just keep being you, man. It'll be what it'll be. Exactly. Yeah, I've seen some of his videos. He definitely breaks down information very well. I found out today there was a tornado not that far from me last night in Weatherford, Texas. Neat. Tornadoes are always fun. All right, guys, I'm going to wind this down in about 5 minutes. Get myself ready for bed, crash out, and hit it early in the morning. If I was doing multi-hull, semi. Period. Semi. I've done it with a 1-ton. 1-ton will do it. But you are working that truck. Think about it. You've got 3 campers at 4,000 pounds apiece. That's 12,000 pounds. Plus your 9,000 pound trailer. You're hanging 20 off the tail end of that truck. That's a lot for a 1-ton. Yeah, they'll do it, but you're beating on that truck. Semi. Semi's not going to blink at 20 hanging off it. It's not going to care. Yeah, I hit a tornado at Iowa 80. That was fun. That was great. Really want to do that again. No thanks. Glad you made a comeback. Me too. I'm really glad I made a comeback too. I appreciate you, Sean. I really do. Yeah. The sleeper, the microwave, the fridge, the freezer, the additional storage. Yeah. And at that point, when you're hauling that little bit of weight behind that semi, you're going to get pretty decent fuel mileage. You're going to be right about the same mileage, maybe a little bit worse than the 1-ton truck. But I'll bet it's not much worse. Like, realistically, you're probably going to be somewhere around 7 loaded on the semi. I would bet, pulling that light of weight, 7 or 8. And that 1-ton truck is going to be right around that 8, 9, maybe 10 if you're lucky mark. Thanks for replying to all the questions. Hope to get on with Waiver Horizon the start of the new year and get out there with Hill. Cool. I'll be looking for you. Glad to see you climbing back out of that hole you got into, and things are starting to look better for you. And things are starting to look real good. Things are starting to look really good. Let's hope they continue. Plus, you can easily go 1,000,000 miles of semi before a rebuild. Yeah. Now, the issue is, with the semi, every single repair is exponentially more expensive. But you're going to have less of them. So there's that. But yeah, with that light of weight, be pretty easy to get 1,000,000 miles out of a semi. Be really easy. If I was going to do multi-haul again, if I was going to get back in flatbed, 1,000%, 100 times out of 100, forever and infinity, I would do it in a semi. Absolutely. And I've thought about it. You know, just, I don't need the money, therefore I don't need the headache. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's the thing, you know. life isn't about how many times you get knocked down. It's about how many times you get back up. And let me tell you, I'm getting really good at standing up. One day when I get up the kahunas to give up this 33 years in the auto industry, I'll get out there and see the country and RV hauling. Scary giving up my job after 33 years. Yeah, it is. No, I was only at 12 and a half years in my career when I switched to RVs, and that was terrifying. Would I do single axle or dual in a semi? If I could find the right truck, I would prefer the single, just because you don't need the dual. So you get better fuel economy because you're not moving the extra wheels, not moving the extra rate, not having the extra friction. You're replacing less tires. You're also you have one less axle to maintain. Like, yeah, a singled out truck, way to go. I have noticed less, and I'm not mad about it. I'm not. You know, people want to get on there and cry for sympathy. Like, oh, you need to... No, I don't care. I have 0 F's to give. Absolutely none. Don't care in the slightest. Not 1 iota. 0. Less than 0. I promise you, I'm happy about it. And if that offends you, I don't care. Be angry. Be mad. Here's a cape. Go be super mad. Yeah, I am seeing a lot more multi-hull. And that's the biggest thing of this job, is the freedom. Honestly, the money's good. I mean, it's definitely not bad. The money's good, but the freedom is the big thing. The accidents have always been there. They've just never caught a spotlight. No one wanted to talk about it. People talking about it is what's new. But a huge majority of these accidents you see up and down the freeway for years. You would look at the driver, you could tell. Anyway, that's enough ranting. I've put enough up here that I'm sure I'll get labeled as a racist at some point. Don't care. With that, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I appreciate you guys all hanging out with me, and those of you that stuck around, I really appreciate you sticking through all the technical difficulties we had with this thing resetting itself over and over and over and over. I don't sweat the rest, because guess what? If I get canceled on YouTube, I still have a job. When I was pumping out a lot of content and I was making like $1,600-1,700 a month off YouTube, yeah, I might care. Now that I'm making like $100 a month off YouTube, I don't care. Cancel me. Went to single pools guys that moved up to multi-hull until most got semi. Yeah. Yep. 100%. If I was going to do multi-hull, it'd be in a semi, period. All right. I'm exhausted. I'm getting ready for bed. I got to get up early and go do adult things, and that sucks. But I'll be glad to be moving again, because I hate sitting here stationary. So I'm out of here. I appreciate you guys going on this journey with me. And as always, those of you out on the roads, I wish you fair winds and following seas. Take care and have a great day.